How's everybody's 23?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
How is everybody's 2023? What's your one highlight and what's your one thing you wish you could have done? If in hindsight you would have done different. One highlight and one insight you would have done different. I'll start so you guys have more time to think. Highlight is um gosh, now I'm here. I'm gonna start now. I'm stuck.
I'll start. I'll start.
Okay, Corey, start.
Okay. Well, we got our Vegas office. That's a start. That's a highlight. We got our expanding Honolulu office. There's so much. What else, dude? Oh, you know what I'm proud of? What I'm so proud of our guys, and it tells me that we're doing something right is let's see. Every time I guess we look at it as every time one of anyone on the team or throughout our companies has a win, it's a win for everybody, right? It makes all of us stronger, right? Every time someone gets a house, right? Like it's that's everybody's win. So we've had our guys get married, engaged, like three of them. Well, no, Aiden was the year before, so it was.
Aiden
I'm
had a
looking at this
baby?
because Alex is right next to me. Aiden, yeah. So and then Adrian's getting married. Well, he already got married on paper, and Kane we just got engaged, and there was houses acquired by them, cars acquired, probably too many, and but every time we see that, it's like wow, I mean, I'm not just proud and just I'm grateful to be able to watch and experience alongside them their growth, and watch them start their lives. So that's probably the highlight I'd say for us, for me.
That's a good highlight. Absolutely.
That's a good highlight. I like it.
I'll share.
Go.
I've been doing studying real estate investing since 2017, and I think I've told you before that I haven't been very successful with it, with buying homes under market value and rehabbing. And even though my husband works for an Unreal Contractor, I mean, I have all the connections on one aspect of it, but I'm just haven't been aggressive enough to go out and buy. And I'm kind of shy when it comes to asking people for money. But I was invited to do a mentorship or a coaching program with Zasha and Fuzzy, and I did it in September. And it completely changed my whole thought process and stepped up my game. And I'm just really proud that I'm in the process of acquiring my property. Hopefully it closes in the next 2-3 days, or by next week at least. And that's my highlight, is I'm acquiring this property to build a post office box annex for 6 communities that have no mail delivery. Very proud of this. Very happy for these people to get something that we all take so much for granted. And I've even thought in the back of my mind, it's like, why would I want to do mail? Because with emails and DocuSigns and all this kind of stuff right now, why would you want to do mail? But it's such a needed necessity for so much of us. I mean, we all here have mail delivery. Believe it or not. And it's something that we all need. And even along with mail delivery, I plan on working with Amazon and UPS and FedEx, which that's going to be kind of interesting. I'm an old UPSer for 23 years. So it's a labor of love. And, and Corey, you've asked me before, well, what if this didn't work out for you? And storage units. I've just found an affordable place to buy and build storage units. And that's something that I hope to continue on with. So, but that's my goal. I did it. I'm doing it. And I'm grateful.
That's so awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a huge highlight.
Yeah, that's so grateful.
It's a big year for you. That's awesome.
It's my first big year.
Yeah. And in the middle of high interest rates and talk of recession. So, man, if you can succeed in that environment, you'll do awesome anytime.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm making a lot of people really happy. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're happy.
Well, that's a win for us too. You know, I'm vested already and pretty much all, especially you guys who, Tammy, you know, we always see you every week and yeah, that is a highlight. I feel like that's a win for all of us too. So
Yeah. Corey, you know what? I've always been so scared to talk to you guys because your intelligence is so far above me. But I was always taught if you want to be smarter, then be around people that are smarter than you. And I just would stick to it, just listen to you guys. And I learned something every single week, you know, through Coffee Talk. And I'm so grateful and so honored to be a part of this. You know, this has just been a joy for me in my life.
wow, that
I make sure
means
I don't have to work on Fridays so that I can do my Coffee Talk.
oh, well, thank you, Tammy. And you know what? Like, and I've said this before, and I think I can speak for Kiko as well. It's like it's not like our time, yeah, we take a lot of time and but you know, an hour every Friday to talk to our friends, you know, and talk and get intel and hear about your deal, Tammy, is like it's all worth it. And like I don't mind however big or small the room is, you know, if it's a big room, that's great too. If it's a small room, that's great too. It's intimate. We can get to know each other, talk about real problems. You know, people are less intimidated to, you know, unmute and stuff. And so it's great either way. That's what I've learned kind of going through this, you know, through our 4th year. Geez, 4 years.
Yeah, I know, right? Hay was the one who shared this with me when you guys first started. It was right about COVID or right at COVID.
Who was
Yeah,
it? Who was it?
yeah,
Oh, Tay? Oh,
yeah. So thank you, Tay.
yeah. And thank you, Tay.
Thank you, Tay. Tay's the best. Tay is by far one of our favorites.
Anybody
I have
have
to
anything else? Any other highlights? Thank you, Tommy.
What's you guys' goals for next year? Anybody got something big and audacious?
Oh man, we could go there. Let's go.
Curious to hear what you guys are getting ready to work on. We're ready for a commercial building or multifamily or something along those lines. So as soon as this refi is done, I'm gonna get serious on really scouting.
Nice, love it. Oh, did Chris reach out to you, or did you guys get to connect? Or
Yeah, we've been bouncing back and forth. So thank you.
yeah, man, goals. Yeah, okay, we can pass around goals too. I want to hear highlights and goals. You know, like what was great about this year? What's goals for next year? Okay, cool.
Oh,
You're
man.
gonna start us off, but you know, we could do this or
Let's go. Who's got a big audacious goal for next year?
what's our big? Okay, that is a
I
pretty
want to
audacious
build
one,
a
so-
team to find deals.
Yeah,
Systems
I-
and processes, yep, good, and like full marketing plan implemented and first deal acquired by
Love
the end
it.
of next year. Like super organized for mailers, phone, everything.
Oh, love it. Is that and is that here, Roger?
Probably here and the mainland. I want my systems and processes set up so that I can go anywhere quickly. Like, oh, okay, let's market that neighborhood next. Let's go over here, you know?
Yeah,
So great.
love it. That's a great idea. And you know what? That is the best way to get deal flow is to build a team, but it's also to what I learned is like when if you invest in just teaching people what you know and what you're looking for, give them all the tools, all the resources, the same spreadsheets, scripts, if you have scripts, like everything, just hand them the playbook, right? Make sure they're people worth investing in, but like because when they take that as another person, you know, who's not competing against you now, but more working with you, right? And potential partners. And yeah, they might take a deal down here or there that you were bidding on too, but that's okay. You get the next one, right? There's more than enough to go around. And that's one more person that is out there kind of shopping for you. You know, when you train them, teach them the right way, what you know, what you're looking for, it's like you're kind of cloning yourself. And then you do that enough times for free, even anybody who would ask, I would just sit down if I had the time and it was perfect timing and just hand them everything. And then before you know it, like they're coming back, sometimes years later or like a month later or a couple months later and with some leads. So that's definitely the right way, Roderick.
Do you have a team doing that for you, Corey, or you guys?
Not so much on acquisitions, since we kind of slowed down on that side. But that's what we did have, and that's kind of how I met Richie Keone, is like we're on an apprentice team, right? And I just knew that those guys were gonna make it because like especially Keone, because he was on the acquisitions team, and like it was hard to keep up with him. It's just like leads, boom, boom, boom. I was like, oh man, like this is working out pretty well, And sure enough, he's here kicking booty still. So yeah, we
You guys
did have, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, do you guys have any investments or things that you're doing over the next 2 days before it's the end of the year to like, are you gonna invest in your kids' 529? Or are you guys gonna do something with your
That's a
IRA
big-
or like anything you guys are doing last minute?
Oh man, for me, I'm done for this year. I'm actually sitting in my new house. It's not even finished yet, but I got Wi-Fi, so I
Congratulations.
can. Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah,
Where?
it's been quite the journey. I've been on the road for a while, but yeah, I'm pretty much done for this year. Next year's gonna be big though. Getting back in there. You want to share, Kikwa?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. And Roderick, actually that question I started asking back in November, just because that's when you usually get a connection with your accountant, especially in real estate, and just asking, hey, what do we look like? Because then by November, they finished off kind of Q3, any filings, that type of thing. And then that's the perfect time where they say stupid stuff like you need to go buy a short-term rental because you need to go populate it for 14 days and get that additional write-off, or go buy a Tesla because it weighs 6,000 pounds and you can write that 100% off. So probably
Cybertruck.
December 29th is a little late to probably call your accountant, but in terms of last minute stuff to do, I would probably like last minute things I'm doing actually today. I'm sitting here right now, as a matter of fact, is I'm paying off every credit card. So it hits January as debt free. So all credit cards will be free, paying off. I don't owe anything on cars. So we'll be debt free, basically January 1st. So you got to kind of pay it today. So that way it processes on today's date, last business day of the year. So that could be something, is just, make sure you pay off everything you can. I reconcile all of our accounts. I try to pay off any bills that we have that are outstanding, kind of a deal. And then, that's kind of my end of the year plan now. We already bought everything we need to buy. I was hoping to buy a Tesla this year, but decided against it.
So you might not know this, Kikwa. We put a deposit down for the Cybertruck like 2 years ago.
Hey, well, what's crazy is I just went and looked at the Cybertruck yesterday. There's an actual one right here in Bellevue at the
Oh, you
Tesla.
put deposit too, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A long time ago.
Ah.
So but you can actually see one right here live. And in person, the Tesla truck, like you see it online and it looks super ugly, right? And kind of futuristic. So the cool thing is when you go up live, it is even uglier than it looks like online. So yeah, it's so ugly, dude. I kept staring at it. We went and looked at it last night and I kept staring at it. I'm like, oh, I want so badly to like this just to be cool, but it is so ugly. Like it just looks like a tin can that kind of got shaped like a tent, and then they put wheels on it. And yeah, I'm believing that Elon is going to do some final design stuff to make it as nice as the Model X is not fancy, but at least it doesn't look so blah.
Model
But
X
yeah,
is nice.
it's
What
ugly.
about if you wrapped it though? Come on, in the team color,
Yeah,
No?
maybe if you wrapped it, lifted it, put
You
on
write it
some
off.
rims, I guess. I don't know. I think I'd rather right now, I think I'd rather buy the Hummer, the big huge Hummer.
Oh yeah. Actually,
Yeah, those are cool. And they weigh 6,000 pounds. So anybody who needs that massive section 179 write-off, the Hummer qualifies.
who needs write-offs?
If you need that kind of write-off, that's the way to go.
Does the Cybertruck weigh more than 6,000? It's got
Uh, yeah, I think it does. I'm sure it does. I mean, it weighs that much in ugliness, that's for sure.
Oh
Brah, it is so damn ugly. And and I'm really a
no.
positive person too.
I know
But
you are.
Corey knows me well. I'm a design guy at the same time. And I'm just like, dude, whoever designed this just didn't do a lot there. So
Maybe it's
it's
gonna
a bummer.
grow on you. Can you go back next week and look at it again?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's super funny. It's so windy here. Ben, is it windy at your house?
Not at the moment.
Oh, dude,
It
it
has
is
been
so,
recently now.
our power just went out and came back on. That's
Well,
weird.
we might lose Kikwa.
Yeah, it's so windy up here. I feel like I'm on a sailboat. I love it though. It's kind of fun.
Well,
Anybody else doing any
anybody else?
year-end tax stuff that's creative or insightful or paying off bills or all that kind of stuff?
Where's our tax people at?
I have my kids on payroll so I can fund their self-directed Roth IRAs, so I can partner with them on acquisitions
Mm.
later.
Very smart. Very, very smart. Yep. Yeah, it's actually a really smart way too, in terms of all planning, is just put your kids on payroll so that way you pay them, and then they become an expense to your company as opposed to paying them an allowance, which is an after-tax dollar. So it is pretty smart.
I gotta get me some of those. I can borrow yours, Kikwa.
Yeah.
They're good.
I don't know. The tax write-off is not necessarily an offset to the expense that they are, but they're a blessing that is
Right.
valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to get you a girlfriend and a wife first, I think.
Nah, no need.
That's
Very
Corey's
cool.
New Year's resolution is he's gonna start dating. Watch out.
Okay.
Anybody else got any other? And that was awesome, Anna. That was fantastic. That's a great strategy. Well, how's anybody thinking differently now with regards to the potential of 3 interest rate drops in 24?
Oh, nice. That's great.
I can kind of go into that.
Yeah.
This year, so 2023, I started the year wanting to accumulate more rentals, small multifamily, and ended up doing more flips than anything else. We bought the 13 unit as a buy and hold, and then that's it. Like everything else has been flips or stabilizing earlier assets. And I think the first 2 quarters of 2024, like that's where I'm at right now, are going to look like more of like stabilization of these assets that we're keeping long term and continue to acquire fix and flips. And the second half of the year will be a bunch of refinances of all these things that are finally sort of like stabilized, like meaning renovations are done, so we've got the equity now to refinance, and or these assets that have been not cash flowing but bringing income, we can like DSCR them because now we're showing rental income for 6 months or 9 months, so although we're going to continue accumulating, I absolutely want to like stabilize the financial part of the long-term assets, the portfolio, with the rates finally coming down, because this 2023, I wanted to do that. or what the deals that I have with partners or my own personal deals. Been wanting to do that, and I just held off because the rates were not going to make sense because I just wouldn't cash flow. And I've got equity in some of these deals, but again, with the 8% or 9% DSCR, it just didn't make sense at all. So anyway, that's where my head is at. And then the other thing is I want to pay off several private lenders, just kind of start getting these off the books. Because I was looking through my QuickBooks yesterday and my PML balance is not scary when you look at the size of the portfolio, but it would be nice to like kind of offload a little bit. So the profits from flips, hopefully, well, not hopefully, but that's the goal. They'll go towards all of these PML balances that I can pay off. So I think it's like a money strategy that I have for next year, like refi, cash out refi, use that money and pay some PMLs off, or refi with a home equity line of credit, pay off something, replace the 12% PML with maybe a 4% HELOC or something like that. So that's where my head is at for 2024. And
That's awesome.
I wanted to just like the first thing that we were talking about, like two big things this year, like a big lesson that I'm bringing into 2024 would be giving myself grace when it comes to investing. And a really positive thing that happened in 2023 would be like really good lessons to not just to go into 2024, but just like for the rest of real estate journey. Great lessons about partnerships. Yeah, mainly partnerships. Like every time I do this, the screen does a thumbs up. Anyway, yeah, so that's what it is. Thank you.
Good lessons about partnerships or hard lessons this year?
Well, hard, but yeah, some hard lessons and gonna do better moving on.
Yeah, partnerships can be really challenging for sure. Corey and I fight all the time, which is why we have to go to spa days often so we can, hug and stuff. But no, those are so good, Tay. And I think I would echo that in regards to it's such a good time to be looking ahead to say, hey, what do we have in the portfolio now that we can refinance third quarter next year? And so it helps to just say, let's not sell something if it's just kind of pushing through 6 more months of just holding it, because then we can refi it down and that should hopefully increase the cash flow a little bit. But then on properties for sale, like Corey and I, we have some stuff for sale. Now that we have this sense that the interest rates are going to come down, the correlation there is that more buyers will come back on the market. So for anybody who's selling something, there's not this need to fire sale right now. We shouldn't reduce prices right away unless we're in a crisis, right? But it's more just like, hold tight, just wait, because as soon as that rate drops a little bit, you're going to get the first wave of people who have that FOMO the most, and they'll be like, crap, I got to get on the market because I got to beat everybody else. And so those will be the buyers that I think we'll start seeing showing up in end of quarter one. And then once Powell says it again, hey, it looks good, feels good, probably no more rate increases, then the second tier of FOMO people are going to come out. And then that's going to bring up that whole, supply and demand curve thing. And then suddenly we're going to have a competitive environment again. Because right now, let's face it, across the country, listings are sitting and they're just getting stale because, who can really afford, especially at these first time home buyer prices, to go 8% or even 7.5%, they're buying by payment, not necessarily for the interest rate, but their payment now is huge and they're getting less house. And so a lot of buyers are just like, we're going to rent longer, which is why those of us who have rentals are doing really well, right? But those of us who are trying to sell properties or flips are kind of like, dude, we're totally stuck, So I think a good strategy, Tay, as you said, is trying to figure out, what can we cash out now, get in some temporary funding to just hold a little bit longer. So we're not selling at, 50 to 100,000 less than we should if we just waited about 6 more months, So that's super good. And I think the big piece too is now for the buying side, for those of us like Corey and I have been talking about investing in different markets. And then, I know Rodney wants to get into multifamilies. The challenge is now we're now kind of coming over that top where we are now on the other side of the equation where it's going to be a tougher and tougher time to buy, because now so many people are coming out. Like Corey even mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, as soon as Powell mentioned, hey, well, we're looking a little stable, suddenly people started reaching out to Keiko and said, hey, I got to update my pre-approvals because I'm getting ready. And so that's happening literally every circle that I'm involved in, and all the conversations I'm having with investors, they're all kind of saying the same thing, is get your ducks in a row, get your credit score good, get your cash ready, because you got to be shopping immediately and start buying now. Because a lot of us, like even Rodney, a strategy would be still buy in January, pay the high interest rates, because there's still going to be less competition in January than August. And guaranteed, if it drops 3 times next year, there's going to be a ton more competition by December, right? So I think similar, we're not the smartest crayons, right, in the box. And so there's dozens of others that are doing the same thing. And I've got clients who have reached out and they're like, hey, we're ready. January, get me into something because I need to beat the competition. And it's like, well, you're kind of late because we got 100 more of you that said they want to beat the competition. And so we're going to already have a bidding war within. So I think the big piece there is really looking off market and trying to source direct as much as possible, and then try to get to those sellers quickly.
Yeah, I like how to your kind of plans and goals are to shore up, and kind of get some stuff off the books and pay down some debt. Like that's important too. Like that's progress. People think it's not progress sometimes for some reason, but that's progress. Sometimes we gotta make room, right, for that to come. And sometimes if you don't make that room, it won't come. It's just kind of how it works. But when you're talking about paying the private lenders back, it's I know that feeling, right? And I know Keiko knows that feeling. All of us is sometimes it's like for us, we're in that position, kind of we're getting close to that where it's might have to start saying no, or even returning capital, or we go bigger, right, and make a bigger impact, right? So when you're weighing those decisions, it's hard sometimes. And a lot of times I've weighed more towards, okay, like progress, I think for me at that time, and me and Keiko is to, pay down some debt first and then go back. But it's hard to do that because one, your investors, likely might want to stay in sometimes, right? And our investors, they didn't want their money back. And if that's the case, like you have to make a decision. But what it came down to, and talking with Alex and Layla and Keiko through some of this, is like it's our life's work, and every dollar that someone pledges to us is like it's an honor, and it also is a sign of like how much we're worth, how much people trust us, and that means everything. So how it's very hard sometimes to deny that, right? And but sometimes it's necessary. So I know the feeling, but I think that's great plans, great goals moving forward. I like having lessons too. Any lessons to share is also great.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to share?
I like hearing all the stories of the lessons that you guys have shared. That to me is so beneficial, and I treasure you talking about it. Tay, you've talked about things that you've gone through, and it's just, I just love hearing what you have to say, because I know this journey is not easy. It'll never be easy, and everything is always different. But thank you so much for sharing the deepest part of your heart. This is truly a gift to hear.
So
Tay's
allow-
always got great stuff to share.
What's
Yeah.
that?
Tay always has great stuff to share.
I
Tay, do you still
know,
have that
as always.
do you still have that Vancouver property, Tay? The duplex? Triplex?
Yes, duplex. I think I recently, maybe like a couple of months ago, I had my agent who's also managing the property send me like current comps. I bought it for 530 and we think it's worth over 700 now. So that's like one property that I could pull equity from, but I don't think that even with the rate drop, I don't think I could fully max that out because the income of the property is just under 5,000. So yeah, I'm not too sure. And I didn't want to touch it until the rate, like I didn't want to look into it until rates were nicer than right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, Vancouver's a hot market. In fact, Kenji and I just decided to do just a batch of direct to seller marketing for Vancouver multifamilies. And they're getting some hits. So if you're interested in that market, then we'll send you stuff.
Yes, I really like it. Like,
Yeah, I do too.
I don't know if I mentioned this, but my Maui rental and Vancouver rental, they're in the slightly more expensive markets, I guess. Give me zero, like when I say zero headaches, it's like zero. There's rarely any maintenance. Like it's just not even an hour a month I spend on that, including accounting. My Midwest stuff, the break-ins, the requests, that I'm like, it's almost like I just want to buy in the expensive areas, almost like because there's just no headache. But anyway, that's just my
That's so
5
funny.
cents
I was just teaching my multifamily class that exact principle. It's because I mean it's so
it's
much cheaper and it's so much better cash flow in the Midwest. But what we forget to take into account is lack of population growth, lack of job growth, high crime rates. You know, and you take those factors together, and you have people just not pay, and you have people break in, and people skip, and people, yeah, no, it's. Trust me, I know there's a couple of units that we have, like especially that North Vegas property. It's like, man, the people who own Class A's, you spend 4 times more, but you have 50 million times less headaches, and the cash just keeps coming in, you know. So yeah, no,
it's like
that's a great lesson. Oh, by the way, Tay, we're gonna repeat that in the spring. I know you reached out about when the next session is of the multifamily
yes.
class. So yes, so sorry about that. I am so bad. Just ask Corey. I'm so bad at responding to messages because I just have way too many. And so,
Well, you actually did. You did respond to my text.
did I?
You
Oh,
did
okay,
say
good.
it's
Oh,
it's
it's
like
so
one
bad.
every 10 texts or so you respond. So
Oh, it's so
but
bad.
if I
I'm trying to find.
wanted to if I really needed an answer, I think I would just continue bugging you anyway.
Oh
so
yeah,
no
no,
worries.
please. Corey knows
Yeah.
that. Corey knows that he calls, then he texts, and then he texts again, and then Sheena calls me, and then I'm like, oh frick, I gotta go figure this thing out. But I am one of my New Year's resolutions. You guys have hold me to it. Is I'm trying to find an assistant to answer my emails and calls, or at least summarize them. Because I don't know about you guys, but I get so many spam calls and spam texts, and and it just all day long.
Spam
And so
email.
and my mind works better these days to batch things. So I'll do like a couple hours over here and a couple hours over here. And if I just respond to calls and texts, then I'm reacting to everybody else's urgencies and not my own. And so not a perfect environment, but that's worked for me to multitask. But anyways, didn't mean to make this a counseling session for Keikoa, but thank you for listening.
Yeah, Koa, are you always teaching multifamily classes, or is this something you do often? And can we learn?
Yeah, it's something. Well, Corey and I are part of a group as well called New Wealth Advisors Club. And so that's where Corey actually got his start. So all of our success I owe to Corey's mentor, Melina and Dave Boswell. And so I teach a course for, what do you call it? Layman people. And then we also teach one that is for the New Wealth Club members. So this last group was about 45 of those that just went through. So we'll do another one probably February or March, especially in light of what's happening. I'll let you guys know, and then we'll do a Keiko special for who wants to be a part of it, and we'll do it together. I mean, it's nothing rocket science. I tell people all the time, but you all know how it is. It's like even flipping a house. It's like it's not that complicated, but sometimes you just need somebody to lay it out so that your first one is a little more straightforward. Then your second one is easier. And I make it analogous to the first child, right? You get your first kid, you have no idea what you're doing. Every grandma and nanny tells you, oh, it's so easy. You just change a diaper when they cry. You just pat them on the back. And when they, are grumpy, you burp them, and you're just like, this sounds so stressful. And your first kid, you're just up all night. You check their breathing, and as soon as they poop, you make sure they didn't eat something bad. Your second kid, man, you kind of pay attention to them. Your third kid, you can't remember their name. So same thing with multifamilies, is that it's just kind of a cycle that it goes through. And I just found that, same heart that Corey and I have is just trying to make things simple for people so it's accessible. We love the fact that over the years, we see so many people way surpass us in the quantity of deals they do and flips they do and portfolio they have. And it's kind of fun to just know that we were a small part of all that. So yeah, I know if that helps all of you, happy to do it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And Tay, I wanted to ask you, who is your favorite insurance broker for all your mainland houses?
I do not have a favorite, but we for the in Kansas City, Missouri, we're using this guy in Patrick. How do you say the last name? Goggin. It's not just his rates that are really good. It's family-owned business, so way less overhead, and he's very good at responding at communication. So we like him for all of the Missouri stuff. And then Vancouver, I believe I have Allstate there. And I just asked like the agent who she, would recommend and such, and that's who I used, whoever her contact was.
Hey, Roger, just a thought on that. Are you referring to potentially on the multifamily side?
No, I have these single family and the triplex in Florida, and I just know that I'm not getting the best rate. The Florida one, they 4x'd the insurance premium on me, took all the cash flow out of the deal. So I gotta start shopping around. I need
it's
a
very
system. I need contacts.
Yeah, it's very common. I think most insurance across the country has 3, 4, 5x. Ours all have as well. So that's made it challenging. The couple things on the insurance side that we've done is, number one, your network. So just like you're doing now, is ask everybody in every circle, Facebook groups, if you're part of Ryan Panetta's group, just ask in general, get different names of people. The second thing I do is I take a look at a local brokerage in that city. So somebody who knows that community really well. So surprisingly, we've done a lot of business with local brokerages. So typically those local brokerages who do insurance, they have a big book of clients right in that demographic. And so they have a little better understanding of the risk. Because when you go with an insurance company that's in a different city, they're trying to assess risk from afar. And so their assessment of the risk is always going to be higher because it's kind of like when mainland people think of Hawaii, they're like, oh, we'll never lend on ag land. Oh, leasehold, we'll never, that's too risky, But yet in Hawaii, we're like, hey, this is like a big part of our market, And so same thing, it's kind of like if you're in a portion of Florida, a local insurance company. So when you're in town, literally drive around and look for those little brokers that have their little sign on those little shops, and then just try to take their names down and call them. And oftentimes they give you a pretty solid rate because they've been there forever. Grandma, it has her insurance through them, kind of a thing. And that's worked out really well. When you acquire a property, often in terms of multifamilies, one thing I do is I find out who the current insurer is. And I try to ask him before I close, can you honor the same rate for at least the next 12 months? So at least then you're not closing and then wondering if it's going to increase. So at least you could stabilize for a year. And so that's really helpful. So that could possibly work for single families as well, but for sure with multifamilies.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so look for local insurance brokers in each area closest to the house.
Yeah, that's really helped us. It's been remarkable. I used to think, oh, I just want to go with, I think we were using State Farm and then Farmers because they're all over the country. It'll be perfect, you know. But man, their rates were so much higher. And I'm like, you guys that are so big, how is it that you're so expensive? And it's because their underwriting, it takes more of account of a global thing as opposed to a market specific thing.
I
So
agree. Yeah, we have State Farm.
just,
God forbid you
just-
call them for anything. They don't want to hear it either.
just some thoughts there.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Yeah, that's great advice, especially with the insurance. That is excellent advice, because I would just naturally want to just go with a State Farm or an Allstate or some big company, Geico, whatever. But that is huge advice because I'm looking into that with my build. And my real estate agent has recommended a local person that's been there forever in Hilo to talk to him about the insurance. So, and I appreciate that. My real estate agent's been everything for me. But Roderick, man, I feel bad for you because I understand what you're saying. And it's terrible when they can just change things on you. And, you know, for whatever reason, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
it's frustrating. Hey, Tammy, you mentioned real estate agent, and so did Tay. I don't know if you guys have just one agent per market, but one thing that I've discovered is not to be exclusive to any real estate agents. And of course, I'm an agent, right? I'm very clear to all of our agents in every city is I'm going to be working with about 3 agents in this city. You know, so I'll say, hey, I'm in Dallas. I've got this one, and this one. Like I tell them exactly who I'm working with. And I just tell them, hey, any of you who bring a deal, it's great. And the person who brings the deal, when I list it, I'll come back to you so long as you did a great job on the purchase. And what it does is it keeps everybody competitive. Agents, and again, I'm licensed agent, so full disclosure is that agents get a little lazy when they feel like they've got a lock on a block of business. And as investors, we need our agents to be like 100% working for us at all times and getting us the best deals, because we all know that the investment is, especially in this market, is made on the buy side. So you need that agent negotiating for you like it's their own deal, like their own livelihood depends on it. And sometimes when, you know, if an agent of Tammy's is like, oh, she's going to come back to me no matter what, let me just get her what I can. And then, you know, we'll figure it out in the next deal. I don't have that much time this time. It's like, no, that's not the way we work. So just a side hint. And I say that just because I'm interviewing some agents in different markets right now.
Yeah, you know what? I appreciate that. And I think the thing that makes it so good about whom I'm working with, Jade, is she was referred, and I met her through Zasha and Fuzzy.
Yeah.
And she has been all over my project, helping me with it. I even went over there just to meet with the Post Office Master General out of KO and Hawaiian Paradise Park Community Association, because I thought my property might have been a part of the community association. And she met up with me, you know, and
That's
she has
awesome.
helped me. I got stuck at one point with one part of my project, and I called her up and said, hey, I might have an issue with this. And she goes, hey, no problem. I can help you with that. But she has, I love her because she's investor friendly and she's happy to work with investors, because we were negotiating back and forth for a price. And she goes, what do you want to make an offer on? Sign the docs. She was right there, but I really, really appreciate everything she's done for me. But that's some great advice, and thank you.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I would just say this, just one little thing, and just see what difference it makes, is just tell her, just in passing, just be like, hey, this other agent brought me a really good deal. I'm looking forward to evaluating it. And all of a sudden you'll watch that agent continue to work really hard for you.
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm all
huge.
about it.
Wow.
No, you got to have your agents work out for you. I tell, you know, even our own team, like even Corey, you know, I'm listing some of our properties now, but the minute that I can't do a good job, I should be fired. Like the job of a real estate agent is so important to an investor. So that's why
Absolutely.
I've gone from exclusivity to inclusivity, and I build a team, and you just call it a power team, right? Insurance company. You got to have a couple of insurance brokers ready to go, a couple of attorneys ready to go, a couple agents ready to go. And that's what, you know, makes us successful. So anyways, I'm talking way too much, and I actually have to go. So Corey can talk now. Sorry, I think I had too much caffeine, or I started drinking a little early.
Hi. Oh, okay, it's not the new year yet.
Well,
It's
oh,
Happy New
Olamaki,
Year.
oh, my brother, you have a wonderful New
Hey.
Year's and safe.
God bless you
Love you,
guys. You
bro.
guys have been a huge blessing to me. I don't want to, I by no means want to wrap this down, but I just want to say bless you to all of you. Keep chatting, and I'll look forward to seeing all of you in the new year. Corey and I are
Thank you,
going to hang out next
Kekoa.
week in Vegas. So if any of you guys are in Vegas, come hang out with
All
us
day.
all day. This is Corey's and my way of doing strategic planning. It's like, which spa are we going to? All right, let's go. Love you guys.
Olamaki,
Take care.
Koa.
Happy New Year.
Okay, Ron, see
Happy
ya.
New Year.
I love that guy. He says we argue, but you don't argue with Kikwa. Like he's just awesome, you know. So
Corey, one of the
unfortunately,
things I wanted to ask, oh, I'm sorry, please finish.
No, go ahead, Roger.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, Kikoa before he left, but I didn't want to slow him down. What are you guys using to track your off-market marketing campaigns? Like what internal,
Off-market marketing.
like
So now, yeah, for us, we're actually running a little differently. We subscribe to a service that's in like an AI service. So we've
Oh.
invested in technology that does a lot of it for us, a lot of the
Really?
outbound. It takes a while for you to train it, teach it. It's gonna say some really like crazy things at first, and you're gonna have to correct it. But you know, if you can hang in there, and you know the technology is only getting better and better.
Yeah.
Like one day, guys, I mean, it's already happening. You're not gonna know whether or not you're dealing with a human or an AI, like a bot. You're just not. It's already happening. Even there's voices, it can mimic voices, kind of getting scary. And the fact that that whole OpenAI thing happened, where they fired the CEO and then hired him like 5 days, like you know, reinstated him 5 days later without any reason for why that went down. They didn't really disclose. Like people are trying to put the pieces together, but either way, you know, you can tell that there's a little bit of conflict, and nobody really knows what the right way to handle this type of technology is going to be, right? So regardless of it though, it's coming. Like no one's gonna stop AI no more. Yeah, that's happening. It's already part of our lives. It's already gonna be a part of our worlds. So I think it's best that we start to adopt it and try to see how we best use this tool, you know. So we have invested in it on our outbound sales, and honestly, it's been amazing. You know, like at first it's a rocky road, you know. But
how do I learn?
once you get it to train, and you know, you train it, it talks in your tonality and language and stuff, like it's pretty much you, you know, like it's pretty much what you would say. And you know, in many times, honestly, a lot more professional, you know, and which is I don't know what to think of that. But so we don't really have we're not really using any marketing software to track like conversions and stuff like that, because it's all built into the backend system of that. We basically replaced any type of marketing with that. So
What's it called? Or how can I start?
it's called well, it was called WooSender, but I don't know what they're called now. I think they changed it. But if you guys are interested in it and want to implement it into your business, then Sam, who comes on our calls sometimes too, he's a distributor, I believe, of the software. And so we can put you in touch with them and have talk to them to see if it's how would it work for whatever you're trying to do, right? And it's not cheap. Like I think it's like up to like $5,000 a month now. So is it what, how much is it? Do you know? Yeah. $3,000. Oh, I thought the price went up. No? Went up. I think it did. No. No? Oh, okay. Maybe it went down. Not for us, but like. Went down for their total cost. Yeah, I think the total cost now is $5,000. Yeah, about 3 to 5. Maybe it's 3 to 5. I don't know, but we can talk to Sam too. you know, and perhaps maybe if enough of you guys are open and willing, then maybe we can get a deal with Sam. But it's been a game changer for us, to be honest. And it's not to replace your sales team, really. It's to relieve them, right? Of the mindless cold calling all the time and the rejection and the like that hurts, you know, that kills motivation. And you know, you can have the best guy who has the thickest skin, but yet if he's taking 10 rejected calls, like, it's still time wasted, right? So the AI's job is to, one, introduce and try to, you know, warm up the lead to see if it's even worth getting on a phone call, you know, because sometimes it's not even worth getting on a call on both sides, right? So but yeah, if you guys are interested, let us know. We can put you in touch with Sam. It's not cheap, but I'll tell you, we made so much money with this software, with this technology.
So you're
And
finding
there's-
off-market deals with this technology?
I'm sure you could. Yeah. I'm sure
How are you guys using it? What do you guys?
for
Okay.
sales to find investors out
Fine.
there. So we'll feed it lists for it to ping. And it'll do ringless voicemails, text message, and emails, I believe. And then
Do
you
you-
see all the correspondence in the back end.
To raise capital, to loan to guys like us, or?
You could probably train it to do anything because like and Sam's team is great, by the way. Like they're great. They got it together, and they'll have a guy like a copywriter sit down and like ask you about your business, you know, and what do you think you could use the software for? Okay, so and then he will draft an initial script for you for the AI. And then you read through it, you edit it. Sometimes like he's really good, like he almost nailed it for us. But you do have to tweak it. And then we just re-edited our scripts as well because we wanted to make it less robot-y, you know, and make it better and better so that, you know, perhaps, you know, it would say everything that we would, and, you know, just in better words, you know, and do it better than us. So Sam's whole thing was like, you know, honestly, like this thing you will relieve, it'll get you like 90% of your time back for a sales guy, you know, a sales team, and probably do the job 80% better, you know, like or something like that. He was, and now that we've been working with him for over about 2 years now, no, is it a year and a half to 2 years? Like, yeah, he was right. He was right. But we still need a team to go in and close and service the client, right? So at some point, I do feel it's not at that level yet where it can just do everything for you. You know, thank God, right? I hopefully we're still necessary soon. But yeah. Sorry, I know you're talking about tracking for marketing, but that was one of the big game changers for our company is embracing technology, trying to stay ahead while we can. And that's hard to do with AI, to be honest. But you know, if I would recommend everybody kind of start studying it, see how you can implement it in your business. How can it penetrate your business and wipe you out? Like we all got to be thinking like that. So, anybody have any marketing tracking tools that you can share with Roderick?
Yeah, like how do you start? Like I have nothing right now. All I've done is written some handwritten letters before, you know, like to my neighbors here. Like if I wanted to set up a direct off-market campaign in Huntsville, Alabama, let's just say, because I have 2 houses there already. Like, how would you guys get going, and what would you use to get going and learn? You know, I'm totally
Gotcha.
open.
Yeah. Well, I know the answer to this one. If it's about like deal flow, like how do you embed in the market and get deal flow, is exactly that. Like you actually have to kind of embed in the market, you know, and like if we're gonna go to Vegas then and buy some property, do some deals, like we have to, I want to know all the players, you know, so I'll be at the meetups. I want to know, start building my power team, because through the power team, you're gonna be creating, you know, even a bigger network. So you really have to embed it in the market. And then deal flow comes down to, I want to say two pipelines. Okay. One is marketing, and then the other more is relationships, right? So, marketing, obviously, there's pros and cons to both. Marketing is quicker, right? But it costs money. And so with marketing, you know, the moment you turn off the marketing machine, you stop your deal flow dries up, right? That pipeline is going to dry up the moment you stop forking up the cash for marketing. So marketing is quicker, but it costs money, and it's not evergreen, right? It's finite if you stop. If you are the relationship pipeline takes time, right? Sometimes it takes years. But once that pipeline starts to pay out, you know, and maybe it's new investors that are coming in, like how you're doing it, you're training new investors. It might take 1 or 2 years for them to develop, but when they do, they're going to be getting deals. And, you know, the next thing is, okay, Roger, how do I get money? He's like, well, I got money. Like, can I partner? And yes, we do a deal, right? So like, that's how you kind of capture deal flow, is relationships, a relationship pipeline and a marketing pipeline, you know. And like, if you have to choose one or the other, I don't think you'd want to have to choose. I think you pursue both, right, if you can, right? And even in a sense of marketing, there could be like a blend of both, which is kind of what you're doing, Roger. It's like, why don't you create a group of, you know, young, hungry people who want to learn investing, and then have you know, once a week meetup teaching them how to invest, right? And it's gonna be good for you. It was good for me, because I got to find out real quick what I was real confident about and what I wasn't confident about. So when I initially started taking on that role of like, okay, people are listening to me now, I better be responsible with my words. Like, I have to now self-analyze, and it's only helped me grow even more, right? When you have to be intentional with your words. And so it's good all the way around. Plus you're training people to look at investing and deals through your eyes, and they're gonna win for you and with you. It just might take time. So I think, you know, if you're gonna want to break through a market, you got to embed in it, you know, find out the players, build those relationships, go to the meetups, ask for business. You know, a lot of us forget that one. You know, like you talk to a wholesaler, hey, you know, I'm new to the area, so I know like you might already have your priority buyers and stuff, but I really would like a shot, you know. And what do I have to do to, you know, to be your first phone call? Like, what could I help you with? Yeah, if you come with that approach, then over time, everybody's going to want to work with you. Who doesn't want to work with that person, right? Like, so Roger, I think like already the way you're thinking, because you mentioned both a marketing is one thing you're pursuing, even if it's just handwritten mailers, like that's still fine, right? But and then there's the relationship side, which is you're talking about, you know, new markets, and then also training, you know, new investors. Were those two young gentlemen that were on the call a couple weeks ago, are you gonna include those guys?
The elders for our church. It's
Yeah.
funny, they're young and they still are called elders. They're just learning. The one kid actually owns a car wash already, and he's getting
Really?
by a multifamily partner with his buddy, who it's the guy's uncle that they're getting it from. So I was really impressed, man. Those kids are like 20 years old. They're doing good, man.
Man, that's what I learned too. Like seeing some of the young people come through our company, I'm like, whoa, can't wait to see what this person looks like in 10 years. You know, like and the way they're speaking and the way they think, you know, I'm like,
Sure.
just blows my mind sometimes. You know, like, then it kind of checks me. I'm like, oh, I better not, you know, get content around here. So
We play cash flow with those guys and some of the other guys at our church, and it's fun, man. It teaches you how to
yeah.
think, and it's really cool.
Yeah. And you know, like people like to talk shit about like the younger generation and stuff, but I'd be careful with those words, like some of them, not all of them, not all of them are like that. Some of them are winners. So
Okay, what are you using to like keep in touch with these people that are possibly wanting to sell their place? You're running off-market campaigns, aren't you?
Honestly, I haven't in a while because we have been buying meat from wholesalers. So I cultivate relationships with my good wholesalers, like the holiday gift baskets and stuff. And there's just a handful of them. So it's not even, or like for the ones out of state, it's Target gift card, Amazon gift card, that stuff. So, and it's because I did, that's just, I guess, how I want to do marketing. I like inbound because I was bleeding on outbound marketing. The cold caller, like the VA cold caller, the system. So anyway, it just got too expensive with it. Sometimes it would take like 6 months to get a deal. So it would take, let's say it's not quite $2,000 a month for marketing, but it was almost that. So 2 times 6, so 12K, right? To get like maybe one deal. When a wholesaler might charge us $5,000. So that's how I was comparing. Is some wholesalers were getting 20K. But again, it was happening at the time of the deal, and I was raising the capital at the time of the deal rather than spending $2,000 and time and because I had a VA and every day we were meeting to talk about the lead, anyway, it was just for my time and my money, I'd rather pay one time a wholesaler per deal, and they deserve their fee, rather than spending money every month, managing people every month. I mean, getting that call system, what's that called? The dialer. It costs money, and then you have to get new phone numbers all the time, and then you get all these notifications. Anyway, I was like, it's not that I value my time. It doesn't make me any better or lesser than anyone else. My personality is just that. I just cannot afford a lot of time managing systems and people, and therefore I manage or I cultivate relationships, PML relationships and wholesaler relationships and partner relationships, and sending friendly texts to people that add value to my life. And I'm way better at that. I do a way better job thinking of people and speaking with my heart rather than the marketing. I don't know why. My personality is just like that.
And I think that's why
I would love to do that stuff.
Yeah.
I would love to do, and I am helping someone right now, and I'm telling them, just maybe try it all, spend the money, spend the time, learn all the things, and then you can decide for yourself later. Do you want to do outbound marketing, or do you want to do the relationship thing? I like the partnership. So, and I at one point I felt like, oh, I'm just taking the easy way out, but it's not easy to pay, to give up 50% of your profits. It's not easy to pay 20K or 50K per deal on as a wholesale fee. That's not easy. Just like it's not easy to do marketing every month and manage a team, but I'm the one, it's me, and it's kind of just me. And I tried doing the team thing. I wasn't good at it. I didn't want to. Anyway, me. Sorry, but that's where I'm at.
How'd you find the wholesalers?
Social media. Because I'm always posting and agents too. So I'm always posting, looking for deals here, blah, 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 the condition, the price pointer. So I just posted my stories, and yeah.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, social media is something that I'm struggling with. My relationship with social media, I struggle with. I'm tired of trying to please 20,000 followers, basically. I just want to be me.
Yeah.
Get the
I like
deals to
that,
come
though.
through. I like that.
Yeah. Social media is powerful, but again, like, yeah, it's like that. Like I was questioning because none of our guys on our team really take the time to be intentional about it. You know, and I tell them, man, we do so much cool stuff. Like somebody really should be capturing this and just putting it out there. And it's just words. That's all I just say. And like same thing, year goes by, you know, like we really should hire like a media guy for just that's all he does. Maybe that's something I might do actually. Um but before we get off the topic, I know we're kind of running over already, but one thing that was a project of ours for acquisitions, actually, Roger. So I don't know if maybe you can implement, or if you have the energy to implement it. But we were gonna start like a driving for dollars, not club, but like just driving for dollars. Okay, we'd pay $1 per address. Why would we do that? It's because it kind of opens up the doors for people that want to do it part-time. There's a little bit of compensation, even if we don't close the deal or not, you know, and perhaps if we do close the deal, we'll pay them we will pay them a piece, right? We want them to get excited and get out there taking down more addresses. But we have to think it through a little bit. So we got as far as, okay, well, they have to take a picture of it, take a picture of the property, and then put the address, and then possibly even skip trace it, or we'll skip trace it. I forget where we left off on that. I think we were going to skip trace it. So all they really have to do is take a picture of a abandoned or rundown house and put down the address, send it in through our website. And then if someone hasn't already sent that in, then it will log them in for $1. And then at the end of the month, we'll just pay out, right? Something like that. So if somebody gets 10 addresses in traffic, that's $10, a couple Starbucks, you know? And also that gives us a high quality list, because the driving for dollar list is like the best list. It just
Okay.
takes a lot of time. So how can we how can we cut the time part out, right? Is like, okay, maybe we open the doors for anybody who's willing to jot down some addresses of ugly houses, you know, and send it in through a website that we put up. Like we even got the front face like done already and everything. We just never went live with it. So maybe we can work together or something, you know, people on this call, if you guys are interested, let's huddle together and I'll show you what we got. You guys can plug it into any market, and see what happens, you know. But if you get a list of 100 driving for dollar lists or addresses and phone numbers to call or mail versus 1,000 just absentee owner, you know, lists that everyone else is mailing to, right? Like I'd take the 100 from the driving for dollars, you know, because one, it's a higher quality list. We're either dealing with distressed assets or distressed people, or sometimes both, right? And at least we're looking at one of the two where the house is clearly distressed if it's on a driving for dollars list, right? So it's a higher quality list. And I think if we, you know, organize properly, it could be a powerful weapon and take into any market. So if you guys are interested, we can talk more about it. Just wanted to throw that out there. But
Definitely
driving for
interesting.
dollars, people forget that.
And what are you using to skip trace? Which website?
Layla, what are we using to skip trace? Best Skip Tracer, it's called. We pay those guys a lot of money. We gotta ask for something. That bill's not going down.
That's great. So you get the address, you skip trace the phone number and all that, and I'm assuming you put it into your system, and then that's where the AI really takes over, right? Sending them a text message, postcard.
Oh, we
Well-
could check. Well, honestly, if you get a driving for dollar list like that, and you have phone numbers and, you know, mailing addresses, I wouldn't stick it through the robot. I would call myself, because that's a high quality list. You know,
Yep.
if you have a big absentee owner list, yeah, send it through the AI and then let it filter, you know, for you. But driving for dollars, if we can leverage that in a way that we can scale, right? Where it's a win-win too. So the thing that drove me nuts for, people who are taking on like a mentorship role is like, you're not really compensating. Maybe if you say, okay, if we close on the deal, we'll cut you in. But people they get exhausted after a few weeks driving for dollars, and then there's no money there for them, right? It's kind of demoralizing. So you want to encourage, growth, keep people vested, and make it a win-win too. If somebody can, earn a couple extra Starbucks sitting in traffic, just taking pictures of ugly houses and sending it to you, and you get deals from that, like, I think that's a win-win. So
Uber drivers.
that was an
right?
idea and a project that we didn't actually get to execute upon, but it's sitting there on the shelf. So if anybody has the energy and wants to take lead in that one or take over, it's totally fine. Like, that's what these calls are about, man. Us all winning. So Rod, maybe me and you, we can team up, or
I'm
and then we'll
open.
present it.
You point me in the right direction. You want me to schedule a thing with you? Like,
Yeah,
tell me
I'm leaving, but right now I have a one-way ticket, but probably be back mid-January. So maybe mid to late January if you want, but we can also correspond, and then anybody, that wants to be a part of it too, just reach out. Maybe just drop your contact in the chat, and then Sheena, maybe if we can just keep track and have a little acquisitions call going.
Great.
But
I'll
thanks for
reach out.
asking that, Roger, because that's huge.
Yeah, it's killer. And I'll reach out to you the third week in January and just
Awesome, yeah. And you don't have to wait till then too. You can call me anytime, right? You know that, right? So yeah. Okay, you're gonna be in Vegas. I might be there still, but yeah, if so, like, let's meet up.
the best ever conference is coming March or April. Do you guys want to go to that? Is anybody already going? It's the big commercial multifamily meetup.
I've heard about, where is that one gonna be?
Salt
Here,
Lake
right?
City, this time.
Oh, here, I'm in Hawaii. I forget where I am sometimes. Okay, not Vegas, Salt Lake City. Okay.
I get the details. And then we're having a meetup on a week from today, if anybody can make it, North Shore.
Oh, yeah. So Roger, that's awesome. You're having a meetup out there, because I don't know of having any out there, right? Is there
Yeah,
any North?
I haven't seen one. And oh, check this out. I wanted to tell you guys. So I'm walking the dog Christmas morning, and I meet this guy. He's all about these trusts. Have you guys heard of this common law trust?
Common law, like marriage?
It's like the Rothschilds, the family, theirs is like 500 years old. And it's this old school way of setting up a trust, and you can pass generation to generation. And he told me to read this book. It's called The Art of Passing the Buck. And it's the only way, yeah. He basically told me the trust that I set up and put the house in, it's trash. You have to do it this certain way, and then he can get debt forgiven. If you get sued, there's no way they can take stuff from you, anything that's in this trust. So look up The Art of Passing the Buck, Volume 1. And I'll put it in the chat.
Love it.
Yeah, man. Pretty cool.
I'm looking it up right now. Okay. Secrets of Will's Trust. Oh, I wonder if this is what Ransom he's got on the menu, because he has a section for us to go over about trusts.
Dude,
And
these guys got sued by the Department of Justice, trying to take them down and get this book banned and get their website shut down because it is yeah, dude, the government came after
Better
them.
buy this now then.
Yeah, volume 2 is $800, but he said you might not need it. He said just start with volume 1, and then you can identify if you just need a will or if you actually do need this common law trust, is what it's called.
That's crazy. It is
So-
almost $100.
The Rothschild are the family that's authors for this book?
No. There, he just used it as an example. He explains to
Oh,
you how
okay.
to set up a trust that is just like these elite families that are untouchable, and this is how to do it. And that's
Okay.
why the elites don't want this information out there, is because it kind of levels the playing field.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Roderick. I've
Yes,
never heard
absolutely.
that book.
There's the link. So send you guys my little flyer.
No, yeah,
Hopefully-
please send the info too for your meetup, Rod. North Shore. Yeah, it's like we don't have a meetup out there, so it's like everybody, if they do come to town, usually it's in town, right? That's a far drive, and usually it's at night. So, yeah, let's grow that.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, guys. Well, happy end of 2023. It was a great year, a lot of challenges for us and a lot of lessons. And you know, one lesson that I am going to take going into the next year is that, and it was a huge lesson for me, is that I'm no longer going to wait for opportunity or worry about something, you know, happening. Now it's like, I kind of want the obstacles, you know, I want the hard, because as the years gone on, especially this past year, all the challenges I feel powerful now. And Kiko asked me, you know, how I'm doing and stuff every time we meet up. And, you know, this last, you know, ever since maybe like half of the year, I was like, you know what, dude, like, I feel powerful now. And it's because I understand this lesson, you know, that like nothing's gonna take me down, no matter what it is, you know, and because of that, I know that there's lessons through adversity, right? And so next year I'm gonna be searching for the lessons. That means I'm gonna be searching for the obstacles. So I don't want it easy. I want it challenging. You know, I want it very challenging. I want to see how good I really am, you know, and I think if I take that approach to next year, we'll find out either way, right? Either way, but I know for a fact that if I'm intentional about looking for the obstacles and the challenge and not being afraid of them or waiting for them, then next year I'll be a whole new man. You know, I'll be even more powerful. And so that's what I'm bringing into next year. And I thank you guys for always coming on and sharing and sparking, you know, great conversation. You know, that's thought leadership, and we need to be thought leaders out there, you know. So I love you. Have a great end of the year. We'll see you guys in 2024.
Appreciate you
Hola,
guys.
Makihiki ho.
Aloha.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Great
guys.
information. Aloha.
Aloha.
Everyone. Yeah.